Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And hi, love you all, so and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously. So, what do we do? 3, 2, 1, my juice, little lights. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright. Yes, they are, aren't they, my delicious babies? See, I've got loads on this side. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now, then, the time is, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? So the time is 9 o'clock in the evening, my delicious little babies. Okay, and yeah. So I haven't did a video done. Sorry, that's not the correct English for a couple of days. My delicious little babies, well, nearly. Anyway, and I just thought that I'd give out some videos today, my delicious little babies. Okay. So yes, we're hearing about the RDs, my delicious little babies, all the digital RDs, okay, yeah. So I'm going to rock and roll with the first one, shall I? So this is called, sorry, excuse me, capital L, all on YouTube, my delicious little babies, please excuse me. I'll just ignore it. Lawful, mind you, if you look at the centre, do you ever remember, that just came into my noddle, do you ever remember the Mohicans? Did they call them Mohicans or Mohicans? One of those. And then you had the mods and you had, all of those. Anyway, that's just came into, there we are, my noddle, my delicious babies. Anyway, this is called Capital L in the old space bar on YouTube. Should anybody happen to have a form of interest in any of the videos I advertised today, Lawful Space UK. This uploader happens to have 637 subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? And the video should read, check this out, live, okay, my delicious little babies, no to digital RD. I kept saying RDs, cards, okay? Watch this UK petition soar past 1 million, and I put 1 million signatures, my delicious baby. So I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? Live, no digital RD cards. Watch this UK petition soar past 1 million. Yeah, I've been watching it. And of course, I've sent it out to everybody in my dog and bird, my delicious babies. There we are. Yes, I have. Okay. And why have I done this? Well, I've done this because we've got our lovely, and with anybody not in that way, we've got our lovely dear Gareth Ark, our dear Jamie, they're all so lovely, not in that way, and our lovely Richard Willett, our lovely dear David Ark, you got our lovely dear UK column, okay, who also talking about this. And have been long time. They've all been talking about it long time. This is, let's just say, one's wanted it in the making, but they're trying to get it passed. This ain't going to happen. And I pray, there we are. I pray, okay, to my own dear, beautiful, dear little family who have passed, and my beautiful dear little ancestors, and everything. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay, that this, with their help, there we are, will not pass. So if everybody, there we are, can really do, there we are, the same thing now, okay, this is not going to pass. And also, I've been speaking to others, and they're all saying no. Okay, my delicious little babies, there we are. So at the end of the day, that doesn't mean yes. Okay, they're saying no. Okay, and they're saying no, there we are, for a reason. So it appears to myself, with the best will in the world, and bless, that one's now seeing. There we are. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? It's almost like certain, or there's something going on here. I've been long time saying this, that what they're trying to do is they are trying to give ones, I feel, I'm not talking about our poxy governments, forget them silly little effers, okay, my delicious little babies, because they're just little bitches and I'm bees, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay. I'm talking about the ones, there we are, in power. Well, They seem to run the world, but they run it with ka-ching, 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 okay, marvelous little babies, which was just, you know, Puff the Magic Dragon lives by the sea, you know. It was just brought in out of thin air, marvelous little babies, okay. But I do believe, there we are, for even sake, that there is one or two decent ones, okay, marvelous little babies, because if they really wanted to, what's that old-fashioned saying, just figure of speech, if they really wanted to clamp down, okay, marvelous little babies, okay, I'm pretty sure that there we are, that they could do it if they really wanted, okay. So I do not believe, even with, you know, who's running the world, that all, okay, is in agreement with this. I'm just not feeling it. I'm genuinely, I look at you in the camera, Mads, little babies, and I just do not feel that they're all in agreement with this, okay? Because this would be, there we are, absolutely, well, put it this way, okay? If they were to do this, because I do believe that ones, there we are running scared, okay, Mads, but there we are, I do believe that, okay, and the reason why is because, especially from 2020, Mads, okay, they thought that everybody was going to get, do you know what I mean, Mads, okay, it never quite worked out that way, do you see what I mean, okay, but what ones we're not hearing about was other countries, like Africa, India, and different ones, okay? Because let's not forget that the putrid Bill Gates, he went into these countries, didn't he? And let me tell you, in the end, then see, especially with India, they're running him out the country. Do you see what I mean, Martin? Baby? So the uptake, and I will say this in my camera once again, I'm very, very sorry. You know, I'm truly, truly, truly sorry to anybody who very sadly took something, okay, Martin apart from the efforts who pushed it. And I'm going to continue to say this. Now, at the moment, nobody can see my videos at all, okay, Martin baby. So it is literally who is in my dog and burn. There we are, who can see my videos. And that's not many. So at the end of the day, my videos, they're just not getting out, my delicious babies. And, well, what can I do? Okay, my delicious babies. But I still believe, there we are, that some can look at YouTube videos and where it's not detected. Okay, my delicious babies, okay? There we are, okay? So I do believe that some quite possibly, there we are, doing that. But they're really not in literal terms, my delicious babies, figure of speech. They're strangleholding me, you know what I mean? So that I cannot, it's like I cannot go which way or ever. Do you understand? There we are. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? But I personally believe that they are running scared because they never realised for as many to wake up. There we are. Do you know what I mean, my delicious babies? They just wasn't expecting this, okay? No, okay. And there we are, and I'll stand by this, okay? So at the end of the day, there we are. This is what is going on. The heat is on, the heat is on. Does anybody ever remember that song, Shackles? And I want to praise you, I want to praise you. You know that one? Let me just try and get the tune, okay? Everything that could go wrong all went wrong at one time. So much pressure fell on me, I thought I was gonna lose my mind. That song, okay, my delicious babies, that is what I feel is happening, okay? There we are. So what's happening is, with this digital ID, okay, it's like they've got to get it out, okay? But they're nothing but bullshatters and little effers. There we are, man, okay? And what is even worse in all of this, my delicious babies, okay, is that they do it in front of the camera and they feel nowhere for what they do, isn't it? Okay, but little do they know, there we are, they're going to their own enslavement. Do you see what I mean, my delicious? There we are, little babies, yes. Okay, but they all do it for the ka-ching, 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 or to be on the television. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? But this is what we're dealing with, isn't it? Okay, So please, yeah. Now this petition, from when I listened to our lovely UK column, that was about 850,000. Now this is, you should see the numbers going up, my delicious babies. It's like well over 1 million, and the numbers are just woo. Do you see what I mean? Because ones, there we are realising, bless them, and I will say that, my delicious babies, they're realising, there we are, what is going on here. This is extremely serious in China. China! What they do, my delicious babies, if somebody speaks badly about the government, or they do not do what they're supposed to be doing, like a good little girl or a good little boy, because it's tap, 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 you're being naughty, 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 then they get put on a great big screen to shame them. There we are, my delicious little babies, to put shame on them. And then what's even worse is that they cannot travel, so they cannot catch a plane, a train, go in a car, with taxis. Yeah, this is what they do, my delicious babies. They're wicked and putrid. But China, there we are, it is having a lot of problem. There we are, it's having a lot of problem. But I also seen another video, but I never clicked on it. And it was talking about, it was only about nearly 15 minutes. It was talking about, where China, where they refuse to have any of these weird, what do they call it on that, on that title? Architectures. Oh, but it's all right for all of us to have this putrid shat. All these funny looking strange, and I don't mean funny ha-ha, Martin, all these funny effing flipping strange looking flipping space age, has no flipping substance at all, and we have to have it in all, there we are, in all of our countries, my delicious babies, but certain countries now, there we are exempt from this. Damn rank, man. Anyway, my delicious babies, I'm not shouting at you, okay? Next video, now I'd like you, this video here, my delicious babies, okay? I'm not sure on the timeline of the first video because it's live, so it's still going on at the moment, my delicious babies. Be very interesting to see how many signatures by tomorrow morning, my delicious babies. Anyway, so this one here, now, this never came up on my feed. I was looking for other videos, and then I happened to come across our lovely official, so it's capital official space capital R space capital P Pryor. You all remember our lovely Richard Pryor, my delicious babies. Oh, he was poorly as well, wasn't he? Bless him. You had Michael J. Fox. He was poorly as well, wasn't he? Bless him anyway. But Richard Pryor, yeah, he's really excellent. In that see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Do you know what I mean, Martin babies? Yes. Anyway, but this one here, this is nearly 7 minutes long, Martin babies. This upload happens to have, but I'll just repeat that again. With a Lawful Space UK has 637 subscribers, Martin babies, just a little baby. I'm sure that they will grow, bless. Now then, this one here, Official Space Richard Space Pryor, happens to have 83.4 thousand subscribers, my delicious babies, and the video should read, The Richard Pryor Show, the first black president, 1977, Richard Pryor president, yes. Okay, my delicious babies. Of course, it's meant to be like comedy, but anyway, my delicious babies. Now then, the next one, this one here is, this uploader happens to have 783,000 subscribers, my delicious babies, and it's called capital T, there's no spaces, then it's not and as in and, it's the other one, you know what I mean, my delicious babies, and capital H, so it's T and H, hyphen, inspiration and motivation. Okay, my delicious babies, I think this is about, is it 12? Oh, I'm trying to remember now. Is it 12 minutes or something? It could be 20. It's one of them. Okay, my delicious baby, something like that. Okay, and the video should read, we must see, right, rewind and start again. We must see it before it's too late. Robin Williams, powerful message for humanity. I prefer the word mankind, but anyway, reads as humanity. So I'll just repeat that again for you. Shall I, my delicious babies? We must see it before it's too late. Robin Williams, powerful message, sorry, for humanity. Yes, my delicious babies. Now, this video I think was uploaded about 3 years ago. Okay, it's always important, there we are, to go back, there we are, my delicious babies, where we need to go back to. Okay, please and thank you once again, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest. Sorry, excuse me. Now then, my delicious babies, so we have here right, capital T, the space, capital official space, capital S, Sasha, which is spelled Sacha, space, capital S, stone, then capital C, channel, Mad Little Babies. He happens to have 17.9 thousand subscribers, Mad Little Babies. I used to advertise dear Sasha, Mad Little Babies, not in that way, not in that way. And he happens to be, bless him, had many interviews and friends with our lovely David Icke, okay? Now, I'm just going to read out to you what this title is, okay? This is very important because this is happening tomorrow, my delicious babies. Announcing inquiry into the doctrines of discovery, okay, my delicious babies? So I'm just going to repeat it again. Announcing inquiry into the doctrines of discovery. Now, the reason why I mention this, and bless you, Sasha, is because this is all to do with you know, he's waited, there we are, years for this, okay? He's done a lot of travelling. He's actually very tired as well. You know what I mean? Because it is very tiring, you know, when you're wanting, you know, for mankind to have a better way to live in peace, love and harmony and everything like this. And he's been waiting so long, there we are, for this. Okay, my delicious babies, that's just over 12 minutes long, okay? Good luck, Sash. Good luck to you. Our little lovely, bless him. Not in that way, not in that way. The next one, my delicious babies. Now, I actually already heard about this, my delicious babies. And strangely enough, there we are. It came up on my feed. Look at that, look at that. Like I said, somebody's pulling, there's something, there we are, going on, my delicious babies, okay? Why certain come up at, do you know what I mean? There we are, okay? So we need to watch the flex here, my delicious babies. Now then, so this here is capital E, end, space, Tams, capital T, space, capital P, Productions. Okay, my delicious babies, mind you, so saying that it does ring a bell to me, you know. I think I may have advertised. No, I don't think I have. I don't think I have, my delicious babies, anyway. Sorry, excuse me. This uploader happens to have 953,000 subscribers, my delicious babies. But from the time when I watched this, I think you were a couple of days ago, it was lower than that, so numbers have gone up. And this video should read, this 1998 movie predicted everything. Yes, my delicious babies, okay, that's just over 26 minutes long, okay, my delicious babies, yeah. It's all to do with Charlie Kirk, okay? But like I said, I truly believe that there's some in the world, shall we say, there we are, who are wanting ones to see, okay? Maybe for a couple of those, like I said at the beginning, maybe they're getting sick and, you know, tired of this. There we are, my delicious babies. Do you understand what I mean? Because in reality, even if you've got a bad bunch, imagine, okay, let me just give you an example. Let's just come into my noddle. Imagine a pile of apples, my delicious babies, or a bag of apples, okay? So in that bag of apples, you're probably going to pick up one that's bruised, one that's probably had a slice through it, and you know what I mean, and another one that's completely rotten. Okay, my delicious babies, mind you, you could have another two where I suppose you could cut them, slice into them, if you're making an apple crumble or something, marvelous little babies, you know what I mean? And they'll be usable. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, and then the rest of the apples are fine. Well, it's like that. There we are, marvelous little babies, okay? So even in families, because for goodness sake, whoever runs the world, they must have a family, isn't it? Because we all come from families. We are family, you know what I mean? But not everybody's going to agree. And some could just say to themselves, you know what, there we are, I'm getting tired of this as well. There we are, my delicious babies. Do you understand what I mean? Okay? It's almost as if they're trying to give us, for some, they're trying to, like I said long time, months and months and months and months ago, it's like the Twix brothers, you know what I mean? You got one good and one bad anyway. It's like that. But anyway, yeah. So this is what's happening. You still got your ones who are pushing it, marvelous babies, that, Charlie, because they want to keep the story going along. And of course, they want the viewers, their subscribers, or whoever crosses their channel now, to feed into the bullshit. There we are, marvelous little babies. Do you understand what I mean? But for others, there we are, they're doing the correct thing. They're using their critical thoughts. Okay, that doesn't mean they're using their critical thought, and they're using, there we are, the damn well noddle about flipping time, Martin babies. Okay, maybe their videos may not get monetized, or do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, okay, but do the right thing now. There we are, and then we're rocking and rolling. And really, if you look at Trouble Trump, I mean, he's just done, he goes out to a dinner. Well, it's letting you know, there we are, in certain terms, what's going on. Oh, and Gemma O'Doherty, bless her, on Getter, all capitals, Gettr. She uploaded like a picture, bless her, photograph of Charlie Kirk. I don't know what these drinks are, because I don't know about cocktails. I don't drink cocktails, Martin. But does it look like a pina colada or something sat on the beach? Okay, Martin babies. Now, we could say that that's rather amusing, okay? But then the other side of it is, well, it's not amusing when they're putting that, there we are, on the world to cause division, is it? Martin babies, because let me tell you, the heat was flipping rocking, all over the internet, okay? And of course, and even one's got sacked from the job for having a different opinion. Do you know what I mean? Or a different view to something, Martin babies, okay? But this is what it was designed to do. Okay, marvelous little babies, okay? So we have to, there we are, look in between the lines, read in between the lines. Now then, marvelous little babies, what else we got? Okay, now this one here, marvelous little babies, and I seen this one when I was, scrolling, okay? This upload happens to have 14.9 thousand subscribers, marvelous little babies, and it's called capital C, it's two words together, marvelous little babies, capital C, Cronx, I'll spell it for you, CRNX, watch, as in, the watch that you wear, marvelous babies, WATCH. And the video should read, it's just over 16 minutes long, and it should read, what's going on with the 320 million NHS Palantir contract? Sorry, Martin, little babies, yeah, stumbled there. Just repeat that again for you, shall I? What's going on with the 320 million NHS Palantir contract, yeah? Yeah? My delicious little babies, do you understand what I mean? So anyway, that's all the videos now. Then finally, so like I said, we need to go back to where we need to go back to, okay? Yeah, he's got some really good comments, this young man here, my delicious little babies, and it seems that there we are, many are pleased to see him back. I haven't looked at any of his other videos, my delicious little babies, to be honest. So, like I said, you see, for the majority will be, there we are, one-offs, okay, my delicious little babies, but anyway. And finally, what I want to just say, I just need to get this in as quickly as possible. So I was talking to somebody this evening. I was walking around my beautiful little Rib Tuesday, because my beautiful little Maisie Moo can walk herself anyway. And that doesn't mean no. And anyway, I was talking to this dear man. Anyway, he was telling me about, well, I happen to know his dear mum, actually. Bless that. Anyway, she's elderly. And with him, not in that way, not in that way. And we're having a real good conversation. Anyway, And let's just say I was helping to put him up to speed. There we are. Do you know what I mean? What's going on in the world, mad little babies? Because let me tell you, it's a lot to keep up with. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just need to have a chillax. You know what I mean? Mad little babies. Anyway, fast forward. So he was talking about somebody, that knows somebody else, mad little babies, and they had pancreatic cancer, and what happened was they were only given a very short time to live, mad little babies. Well, he's not long spoke to the who it was concerning, the wife, okay, the dear wife, and then well, it turns out that this who only had a very short time to live, Martha little baby, has had they're all clear. Martha little babies can, whereas this dear man, bless him, has not very long lost his beautiful dear little wife. Do you see what I mean, Martha little babies? Yes. So he was also talking about that he had to have some sort of form of an operation that they said, a little operation. And he said that, when they were putting the injection, because it was to do with his arm, when they put the injection in, he said that the pain was just, everything was excruciating. And they said, well, shall we stop? And he said, well, no. He says, just get it in. He says, because I just got to get this, you know what I mean? He says, so he's completely knocked out, Martha little baby's car. So they did whatever they did. And then when he then went to go and talk to a doctor at another time, Martin baby's car, the doctor, just like this. That's why I say to you, they're not emotional. They're killing machines. I'm not going to say about every single one, but I don't care anyway. Me and doctors and nurses, we do not really get on Martin babies. There's very few who I'd ever get on with. Okay, Martin babies anyway, and I stand by that. Okay, for all the decades there we are that I'll be on flipping earth for. There we are. Do you know what I mean, Martin babies? I just do not like them. Okay, job done. Just do not like them. Do not trust them. Do not like them. Anyway, and when he went to go and see, and they happened to have photographs again, these photographs. And when he's seen what they put in his arm, well, of course, he wouldn't know, bless him. He was knocked out. As he said, he was not completely out. They put some sort of big metal in his arm, Martha little babies. This doctor then turned around and said, imagine that, Martha little babies, and he's seen all the photographs. I mean, that's rather... If you've got a dicky tummy, that, it would turn your tummy, wouldn't it, Martha little babies, anyway? And then the doctor just turned around and said, oh, blasé. Then just turned around and said, oh, well, we could sort... Words to effect, not the exact words. Well, we could sort that out. It was only frozen arm. Okay, Martha little babies, what's the point I'm making? He never needed to have any operation at all. That's the point I'm making, Martha little babies, anyway. Plus, he's in total agreement to what I am. There is a cure for something. Anyway, I talked a lot more to that dear man, bless him. And he said himself, it's been happening from the 1960s. He says, so, they're still looking for a cure. You know what I mean, Martha little babies, if you follow me. Okay? It's a really interesting, there we are, conversation that I had, Martha little babies. But look at that. And really, to be fair, bless him, I said, I'm sorry to keep you, you know what I mean? Because I do flipping ramble on sometimes, Martin little babies. Look, I'm an alien. And, but he said, no, thank you. He says, you know what I mean? Because I gave him other information, but when it come to the digital IDs, because we discussed this at the beginning when we were talking, and he said, no. He said, I'm not having no digital ID. So you see, it's not going very well, Martin little baby. So in order to get us to comply, which we're not going to, okay, because let me tell you, this will lead to, there we are, putrid. There we are, okay. You give them the power, okay. This is what ones have done for decades, They keep giving them a bit of power, bit of power, and then what ends up happening? Wind in Shark Street. Okay? So the fact is, they may have flirted it out, or what do they say, leaked out? Well, it wasn't leaked at all. They're just getting the feelers. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? So at the end of the day, it's not working, is it? So roll on 2027 because it's still not going to be working. In fact, what's going to be super duper wonderful and delicious, my delicious little babies, and I'll say it in my camera, there we are, there's even more will wake up. There we are. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? Who wants to lose their freedoms? Because nobody does. Nobody does, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? Nobody does. Okay, and that's the end of my video. So we're going to keep the lights on. Do you know what I mean? I've got loads of lights here, my delicious little babies. Loads and loads and loads of lights. Okay, my delicious little babies. So wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love and harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you, there we are, all be fully protected. And how I love you also. Yes, so it's no to digital ID, and really it is no to anything else that they want to try to entice us with, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, well, what's going to happen here? Do you know what I mean? You see what it is? There we are. They're losing. There we are. They're losing. It doesn't matter. There we are. It doesn't matter. Like I said, they may have won the battle, but they're not going to win the war. Okay? And if all of us, if you happen to be like myself and you believe, okay, then you will achieve. If we was all to talk to our beautiful, dear little ancestors, okay, and really zoom in and focus now, okay, they will be able to help us, my delicious little babies. They are helping us. Oh, and one last thing that dear man said to me, my delicious little babies. He said, because bless his dear little soul, he only took one. Okay, my delicious baby, and he refused to take any more. And the only reason why he did it is because of his beautiful dear little wife, bless her. And that's what he said. He said that's the only reason, you know, because there was some way, do you know what I mean? They've been married together for decades. Do you see what I mean? So he thought he was, but he's refused. Anyway, he come down with a terrible, he said it was really bad. He says, you know what? He said, I said to my dear son, I says, you know what? I said, I've got to go to bed. He said, because I'm just not, which he's not normally like that. Do you see what I mean? But he said, when he was lying down, he said he's never ever had an experience like this before. And I thought, yes, I know, you say, right? And he said something was going. He said he had aches and pains everywhere, everywhere. He said, I felt so awful, it was unreal. He said, then something was going, and he said, from like here, like this. He said, from here, he says, to my toes. He said, and all my pain had gone. He said it was like something was there, removing, taking out the pain in his body. Look at that, my delicious baby. You see what I mean? This is why I say ones need to use a third eye, because you've got the pineal gland here, you've got the third eye here. Do you see what I mean? If more did that, there we are, okay, and started to focus. I mean, I know that there are many who do, bless them. I'm not talking about those who do. Okay? What I'm saying is they don't want anybody to know. Do you know what I mean? But whatever was helping him, which I said to him, I said, I know, it's the angels and everything, there we are. Do you know what I mean, Martin, baby's guy? So look at that. I said, that was the angels, that was. There we are. Okay, Martin, babies, you know, when they're spending all their time certain, you know, to say the fallen angels, the angels are bad and angels. No, they're not. They're not bad at all, Martin, babies, because they help me. Well, more or less, there we are, on a daily basis, Martin, babies, okay? So at the end of the day, it's full of crock of shit, and just do not take any notice. Okay, Martin, babies, because they do not want anything good in the world, you know what I mean? But of course, when ones are like that, what type of life have they grown up with? You know, that's what you've got to ask yourself, Martin, babies. So until my next video, if it's night time, please sleep tight, my delicious babies. If it's morning or afternoon, please, wherever you are, have a wonderful, super duper and delicious time. How I love you all so, okay? I hope that my video gets to the right ears, you know what I mean, my delicious babies. So very much love. Thank you very much for listening, for any views, for any likes. I'm not even going to say comments because I don't receive any. Okay, my delicious babies, but thank you, thank you. Okay, I haven't received any for how long? Anyway, so you just take care. How I love you all, sir. Thank you. Goodbye.